Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Wednesday. I hope you are all well. I hope you enjoyed the football last night. I'm not talking about that small little game called the World Cup semi-final. I'm of course talking about the big game in world football yesterday, Arsenal versus AC Milan in the Dubai Super Cup. Arsenal winning and becoming Dubai Super Cup champions. Proud moment for everyone involved in Arsenal. Right, all jokes aside, obviously it's a friendly, but Arsenal won, and that is exactly what you want in these games. Get that winning feeling back. Make sure you're not losing any sort of momentum, anything like that. Don't let any questions start to come around about, Arsenal have lost their last couple of games in the friendlies. They're not going to be ready for the Premier League. Beating Lyon, beating Milan, it's exactly what Mikel Arteta would have wanted, and it's exactly what he got. It was a much tougher game yesterday, as expected. The Lyon game was a walk in the park. Lyon were dreadful. How on earth they beat Liverpool in the next game, I have no idea. But yesterday was a lot tougher against a better Milan side who caused Arsenal problems. It was a really good workout. Arsenal obviously coming out on top 2-1, 2-0 at half-time. Technically, both goals from Martin Odegaard. I know Reece Nelson got credited with the second goal. That happens in the Premier League. There's no way he gets that through the dubious goals panel. It definitely went in off Odegaard. It would have been his, but Nelson got it, and I thought he deserved it anyway. I thought Nelson had a good first half. I thought a lot of Arsenal players had a good first half. Second half, I thought Milan came back into it. Arsenal made some changes. They got a goal back. Milan poor marking from Gabriel, sort of let Tomori get in behind him, free header. Which was a bit disappointing. Disappointing for Cole Hine because it was the only goal he conceded during the two games. He had a very good break, Cole Hine did, in both shootouts as well. So he would have been disappointed not to have kept a clean sheet. But all in all, lots of positives to take from what has been a very good and worthwhile training camp for Arsenal in Dubai. They are flying back right now. I think they're probably in the air right now, in fact, or even if it would have landed. And all eyes will then turn towards the Juventus game, which I'll speak about a little bit later on in this video. I thought the big pluses from yesterday's performance. Let me know if you agree with me or not. I will run through my ratings because I wasn't able to do it after the game yesterday, so I'll run through that in a minute. But I thought the big plus points yesterday, obviously Thomas Partey and Ben White coming back and going straight into the side. I wasn't expecting that. I thought we might see them a little bit in the second half, but Arteta put them straight in the starting 11. They only got 45 minutes, which it was a wise move, and Cedric and El Neni coming on for the second half. But it was a real plus to see both of those back into the starting 11. I thought Thomas Partey picked up where he left off before he went away. I thought he was very, very good playing that Thomas Partey role that no one else can really replicate because he's so important to this team. Broke the lines well, got on the sort of half turn, receiving the ball with his back to goal on the half turn and splitting the lines and getting things moving forward. Real positive to see him back and injury free. It's going to be so important to Arsenal over the second half of the season. Is Thomas Partey and Ben White as well. Good to see him back involved. It's been a difficult couple of weeks for Ben White, and to see him straight back into the starting 11 was good. So I thought those two were decent. I thought Eddie Nketiah, especially in the first half, he didn't get a goal, but I thought Eddie was a lot of promising signs from Eddie in that first half. Was really bright early on. Every time he got the ball, he was back to goal. The little flicks around the corner and running at his man. I thought it worked really well. He looked really lively and dangerous. His movement was good. I thought he held the ball up well at times. And this is going to be so important for him and for Arsenal over the next couple of months. Obviously, he's going to need to score goals. We know that. But I think just as important is going to be his ability to hold on to the ball. Do what Gabriel Jesus does. Obviously, he's not going to do it as well because it's not really his game. But he's got to show that he can at least do it pretty well. And I thought what we've seen over the last two games really, really promising because he did hold the ball pretty well. He did bring others into play when needed, and that's going to be so important. So I was quite impressed by Eddie, which is good. And I thought Martin Odegaard played very well in the first half. Lovely free kick for the goal. Like I said, would have been credited with the second if it was a real football match. But there was just lots of nice things. I like the fact there was a couple of times when Fabio Vieira got nailed. One of the Milan players would target him a little bit and bringing him down and fouling him, and it was good to see Odegaard getting in their faces, getting in the referees' faces and protecting Vieira, which is what you want from your captain. And maybe it's like the one slight criticism maybe of Odegaard as a captain is he's maybe not that confrontational type figure. He's more of I'll lead by my performances, but you still want to see your captain getting involved and and protecting his players. And I like that from him yesterday. I thought he showed he had a little bit of sort of fight and bite about him, which was good to see. So yeah, enjoyable game, very good workout for Arsenal. One they would have needed, one that would certainly be really beneficial, and I think the whole camp as a whole would have been a benefit to Arsenal. Mikel Arteta, speaking afterwards, was really, really happy. You could see in a press conference by his answers how happy he was with the spell, by the players who were there, by the young players he took with him, how they performed, and all in all, a very worthwhile trip for Arsenal. So let me know what you guys think about any of that on the match itself, and who impressed you. These are my ratings. I'm just going to rattle through them quickly because it's a bit old now, obviously, so I don't want to spend too much time. I gave Hines 7. I think out of everyone, probably had one of the best trips in the whole squad. Carl Hine only conceded 1 goal. Brilliant in both penalty shootouts, or good in both penalty shootouts. Not quite as spectacular yesterday as he was in the first one, but still, a really good trip for Hines. So he gets a 7. Gave Ben White a 6, Holding a 7, Gabriel a 6. Just a bit disappointed with Gabriel's defending for the goal, Milan goal. Tierney 7, Partey 8, Sambi 7, Odegaard 8, Vieira 7, Nketiah 7, and Nelson 7. Then the only 2 subs that I gave ratings for were the 2 came on at half time, which were El Neni and Cedric, and I thought both played well. I thought El Neni especially played pretty well, but I gave them both 7s. Let me know what you guys think. Who was the standout player for you? Who caught your eye over both games during the Dubai trip? Let me know, as always, in the comments below. Okay, so looking at what Mikel had to say afterwards, as I mentioned earlier, he was very, very happy with the trip as a whole. He highlighted a lot of the youngsters. He praised them for the work that they've done since they've been away. He said they've helped raise the standards, which is what he wanted. Didn't give as many a chance yesterday in the second game as he did in the first game, but we still saw the likes of Wanyeri come on later on, Lino Sosa as well. So gave some youngsters a chance yesterday, and Mikel was very, very happy with how they have done. He talked a lot about just kind of keeping the momentum going, and how that was been a really important part of this trip, which was good. He was asked about Ben White, and asked about him playing again. He said, "I'm very pleased. Everybody has been giving him a lot of support and love, which is what he needed. You know the reasons why he had to leave the camp, and we are delighted to have him back and have him in really good shape." Obviously, there's been lots of stories about Ben White and his apparent falling out with Steve Holland, and that was the reason for his early departure. There's definitely other stuff been going on behind the scenes as well with Ben White, and that's not really for public knowledge, because it's it's personal issues, as they said, and Ben White there, as Mikel Arteta said, has been receiving a lot of support from Arsenal, which is what he needed. Really good to see him back. He was asked about the story, sort of questioning White's character. He said, "We can't control that, but I know who Ben is, what he needs, and what his character is, and how happy we all are to have him at the club," which is a really good response. And everyone's sort of got round Ben White, welcomed him back into the squad, and it's great to see him back, because he's going to be so important to this second half of the season for Arsenal, because he's absolutely one of the standout players in this squad, one of the most dependable players in this squad, who, let's face it, every time he steps on the pitch, he barely ever puts a foot wrong. He was asked about the transfer window, Mikel, and he gave him a very Mikel Arteta-like response. He wasn't asked about any specific players. There was no questions on Mudryk, and to be honest, there's just no point, because whenever you ask about a player, you know what you get from Mikel. It's just, I'm not talking about individual players. He never bites on it at all. No matter how you try and word the question, he always avoids it. He was asked about the plans for the window, and he said, "We are looking and we are active in the possibilities. If we can find the players that will strengthen the team, we will try." I said about this in a recent video when it comes to Arteta and his answers to these sort of questions. He never shirks away from them. He always puts a little bit of pressure on the owners and on the club with these answers. It's always like, we will try, we're active, we're going to try. Never says, "Oh, you never know, it's going to be a difficult market. I don't know if we'll be able to do it. Don't get your hopes up." He's always just, I think he's always very spot on, and he carefully words his answers, Mikel, just to put a little bit of pressure on the owners to say, "Look, I want money, I want players, try and make it happen." And we know he's just come back from LA. He's been speaking with the owners along with Edu and Tim Lewis. They had their meetings over in LA in the last couple of weeks. We saw the pictures of them together while they're over there. So they'll be bang on it. They'll be looking to see what they can get done in January. They know the position they're in. I'm sure they're going to try. They'd be mad if they didn't. I've said it before. You've got to, if you've got the opportunity, as Arteta says there, you've got to try, because Arsenal put themselves in such a fantastic position during this first half of the season. got to try and take advantage of it now, whether it's to really push Man City for the title or whether it's just to absolutely cement your place in the top four. Make sure you get in Champions League and get yourself back to where the club, let's face it, belongs and needs to be. You've got to try and get that done. And, if you can strengthen, you can bring in a couple of players to really improve the squad, to really make an impact over the second half of the season. It would be almost criminal not to try. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. But Mikel's saying there that Arsenal are very, very active and will try if the right player is around. Looking ahead to the weekend now, as I said, Arsenal heading back today. They will be training at London Colney. As always, it's going to be a bit of a rude awakening for them. If they have touched down here, if they are heading back to London Colney, they're going to be trading in the sun and the warmth of Dubai and the pristine training conditions over there, to the snow and the ice of London Colney. Looking out my window right now, I'm only 45 minutes away from London Colney, and looking out the window now, the grass out there is still covered in snow. It won't be at Colney, obviously, because of the way the pitches are manicured and looked after, but still it is going to be very, very cold. It's going to be a bit of a rude awakening from Dubai, but they'll be back there training ahead of Saturday's game against Juventus, which is another big match for Arsenal at the Emirates, of course. Evening kickoff for that one, and Arteta will be looking to continue the momentum that his side have built up from Dubai. Looks like Granit Xhaka will be back involved in that game, which is good. Mikel Arteta pretty much confirming that in the post-match yesterday. He said, where is it? I wrote it down here. Says Granit is already here, because Granit flew, although he didn't play in Dubai, he flew straight to join up with the squad. After Switzerland's World Cup exit, he had a few days off with his family over there, a bit of a holiday time for joining up with the squad. He said Granit is already here and he's training and he's willing to participate at the weekend. So that's good news. Granit Xhaka will be back in the Arsenal midfield against Juventus, so he'll get at least one warm-up game ahead of the Premier League return. He was then asked about the other players who will be back, and he said that will take a few more days. We don't have many away now, so that's a positive thing. Obviously, the only player left at the World Cup still involved, an Arsenal player, is William Saliba. So he will, one way or the other, will be playing, because you've either got the third and fourth playoff, or you've got the final. So he'll be there a little bit longer. Obviously, Bukayo Saka and Aaron Ramsdale now on their way back. I expect they'll be back at London Colney at some point this week. Whether they'll play against Juventus, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, fitness-wise, it's not going to be an issue. Arsenal, they've clearly been training a lot in the last 6 weeks. They've been playing games. I mean, Ramsdale hasn't, but still he's been training a lot. Saka's going to be absolutely match fit because he's played the whole way through the tournament. So it just depends if Arsenal sort of look at it and think, do we throw them straight in or do we give them a bit of a break? I think mentally they need a bit of a rest because of everything they've gone through, the emotional roller coaster that has been the World Cup, especially England's World Cup. You'd think they're probably going to get a little bit of a rest. Maybe they'll just join in after the Juventus game. I mean, as I said, Saka's going to be match fit anyway, so it doesn't. I think you've got no issue playing Saka against West Ham, have you? Even if he doesn't play against Juventus at the weekend. So we'll wait and see on that one. But everyone's come back. Tomiyasu as well, Martinelli. I expect they'll be linking up with the squad today at London Colney when everyone gets back. I think they've probably been training, or certainly been in and around the training camp since for the last couple of days, while the rest of the squad have been in Dubai. So all looking good on that front, and we are getting very, very close now to the Premier League returning. That's about it today. Enjoy the match tonight, the second semi-final. How good was Messi last night? Oh, sensational. Argentina cruising past Croatia. France versus Morocco tonight. Can Morocco pull off another surprise? We shall wait and see. For Saliba's sake, you'd hope no. He can get to the final and hopefully go on and lift the trophy. But I have to say, at the moment, I'm absolutely all caught up in the whole Messi fairy tale, and player who's given me so much joy over the last 15 years or so. I would love to see him win the World Cup. I have to say, absolutely love it. So we shall see how that goes. Thank you for watching, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you very, very soon. Have a good one.